What was I gonna say? Yeah, with Payday 2, it doesn't really matter, I don't guess, because they don't really care. It's basically Payday 2 is just a game that's, you know, co-op for fun. There's no competitive nature to it, really.
But I mean, that can still ruin your game if you've got some jackass who doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, well, see, that's what I was gonna say, though. When you get someone who's a 25-100, but they're constantly going down, or they're fucking it up, it becomes pretty obvious that they're just faking. And then you can view anyone's profile pretty much, and it'll tell you how many hours they have. And if they've only got if you've got less than like 300 hours and you're a 25-100, then more than likely you just
yeah, that would seem like physically impossible to get that high at that speed.
No, I mean, you technically can, but I mean, if you just go to their Steam, if you just go to their achievement page, it'll show you, you know, because there's an achievement for every level of infamy that you hit, and if all of them were unlocked on the same day, then, you know, at the same damn time, then obviously.
Yeah, it's suspicious.
I don't know. I'm gonna probably be playing it in a week or two, though. They're gonna be doing their crime spree thing. It starts on the 25th, I think. They're gonna
nice.
They're gonna add new stuff, and I don't know if they're gonna add any new achievements or not. But
God help you.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I just got my golden pickaxe.
Nice.
Let me go test it out. That makes sense, though. I mean, I sort of figured if there were big events, you'd probably still be going back and playing it.
Only because I want to get the achievements. Unfortunately. There's not really any other reason for me to play. I don't have a friend, you know, that's just getting into the game wanting help or anything, so...
Well, yeah, but if you enjoy it, I mean, that's still enough.
Oh, I do. It's just not enough to play it by myself.
Well, yeah.
As much as I love being a rogue.
A rogue?
Yay, the mayonnaise is done.
I suppose that is a slightly less exciting thing than, like, hey, Coke's done. Or the meth.
I've cooked a lot of meth in my life.
Meth. Yeah, I actually had a really mentally ill guy telling me a way to make backyard meth a while ago.
Oh god, I made duck mayonnaise. That sounds fucking disgusting. I don't know why, but it does.
It sounds like a somebody trying to make like a new suggestive term for some weird sex act. Got some duck mayonnaise on it. Oh man, come on. Oh god, that reminds me. So, there's this thing called a pre-sentence investigation that some people get, where the judge orders that they want this thing written up for whoever the inmate's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's basically just like a personal history and a quick description of the crime, that kind of thing. But one of the things that's part of it is they call a victim impact statement. And this is like if you stabbed somebody and they survived, they get to write like a statement, or your family member might get to write a statement kind of saying what they think of the whole offense and what they think your punishment should be. You know, it's not required, but they allow the family or, you know, the victim to say something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, in a lot of cases, most of the ones I read, there isn't one. But usually if there's not one, it's just left blank. But I got one recently where a guy had really gone on a bit of a spree, and the victim impact statement did not have like a handwritten thing as it usually would. It just had a comment that was clearly typed in by some police officer. And usually, if there's any comment there, it's lengthy. I mean, people write lengthy letters like, you deprived me of my son or daughter, you know, you cost me this and that. All this guy wrote is, the victim is society. And for some reason, that just made me laugh.
You told me this the other day.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't know what it is about it, but it just made me really think of some very exasperated person. Like, for fuck's sake, you know, we're all the victim.
Oh, he's kind of right.
Yeah. In his case, definitely.
Kinda, definitely right.
Yep. Kinda, absolutely right. 50% of the time, works all the time.
I was gonna come down here and buy some cows, but, what's her name wasn't at her desk. She was in the kitchen.
Ah, so she's not working today. I think it's Marnie or something.
I'm gonna check again. It's been 2 hours. Yeah,
Worth
she's just standing in the kitchen.
Okay, today's probably just a bad day for it. This is why industry doesn't take off in this town.
So, I think I heard somebody say that it was like, in the fall, like if you want to make a lot of money, cranberries are really good.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
We can definitely go hunting for them.
I mean, maybe we can just plant them, I mean.
Oh, yeah, if we can grow them, that might be even better.
Good God, that took me forever to catch that guy. Oh, it's a new fish. A Dorado. Huh.
Oh, nice. I actually don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest fish I've ever had to catch. That thing was insane. The damn fish.
Oh, shit, that hurts a lot.
But I mean,
I did not realize I was taking much damage.
Yeah, if someone wants to play Payday 2, I'll play with them no matter what. If you just ask me, like, that's how much I love the game. Like, I will play it with anybody, anytime. But, like, I personally don't like getting into a new game and someone, because I even did this myself to the PAI guys when we were doing Dying Light. I was just like, oh, here, no, trust me, just take this weapon. You know, I know it's way better. And at the same time, I was like, yeah, I don't even know if I would appreciate that myself, because it kind of spoils it a little when someone just carries you and gives you all the good stuff right at the beginning.
Yeah, especially in a game that's loot-based. I mean, there are certain games I don't think it would hurt that much, especially the ones that are very heavily story-based and stuff like that, but it's like Diablo or something like that. I mean, or Borderlands. If you were just, like, handed the best gun in the game, you'd never finish Borderlands. Like, the story is interesting, but I mean, even as an interesting story, I just don't think it would carry people far enough if you didn't have, like, the loot grind and the slow progression of skills and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, like, if I were to play with my maxed out profile on the regular mode,
yeah,
the scaling in that game is so insane once you get to those levels that you could literally run through the entire game without stopping and just one-shot. I mean, that stuff does that much damage. You can one-shot every single boss with one shot with just any of those level 80 weapons.
Well, yeah, you're basically becoming the literal equivalent of One Punch Man.
You are. I mean,
with the same reaction.
You don't even have to have a shield on. You could just run around with your health alone, and it's like nothing can touch you.
Yeah, I mean, and to the same effect too, and that like sort of boredom that sets in when you're like, well, there's no challenge left.
So that's why whenever I got you to play Payday 2 with me, and we would do those cook-offs, that's why I was just like, you just get upstairs and just have fun. Just kill everything. I'm just gonna stay downstairs and I'm gonna just cook the meth and kind of make sure nothing goes wrong. But I wanted to make sure that you were enjoying yourself, so I was like, just kill everything. Get whatever weapon you think you'd have most fun with, snipe or whatever, and just go.
I appreciate that. I mean, for all my frustrations with certain aspects of the game, especially on the higher difficulties where you basically you're very limited in what you can do with it, at least while still surviving. I mean, I definitely appreciate that on your end, as you very clearly were trying to make sure that I and whoever else was playing with us was having fun.
Well, for the cook-off, like I said, if you can just stay in the windows and keep your armor up, you can really just sit up there and just snipe and... I don't know. I never get to do any of that. I love doing that. I love being a sniper in that game, especially on the cook-off, but 99.9% of the time, I am always... I also don't want to waste my time, and if you're not constantly keeping the ingredients up, and if you're not constantly adding ingredients and then worrying about running the bags to the van when it shows up, you're just going to be wasting your time, so I'm always the guy that's trying to maintain all of that.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, you're also at a point now where, actually, this is a problem I've run in other games as well. You've got kind of an idealized way of earning stuff that is way faster than other options, meaning that at this point, like, you playing on normal mode wouldn't really be fun anymore. There's not really much challenge to it, just because, I mean, your build works way too well to be, like, at all, even a game at that point.
Yeah, on normal, the cops go from being half-assed shitty cops to, like, legitimate blind stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't hit him. It's like he's dodging all of my shots.
He's right
somehow.
there. I can't hit him. He's just standing there, threateningly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we got a good example of that. I mean,
I can't think of too many other ones. Borderlands 2 would be the only other game, really, that I have played with other people at that high level and felt like a god. And it was just like, oh god, this is insane. It's not even fair.
yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any games I've had like that recently. Like, when Monster Hunter started up, I was a lot better than most of the folks you're playing with for a little bit. But I mean, then Rain obviously got good at it. And you certainly picked it up pretty goddamn fast. Especially in areas I wasn't familiar with.
I am good at Monster Hunter World with one weapon.
Well, yeah, but that's how Monster Hunter works. I mean, the one advantage I was mentioning earlier is that if you do end up playing with a second person, you can just do the thing where it's like, okay, I'll learn a new weapon. I got a second cake.
Oh.
Huh, that's weird.
Also, I put that new fish, the Dorado, in this white chest, and I also put 2 of these ancient fruits that I just gathered. I don't know if you need them for any bundles or not, or if we can sell them, but they're there.
I'm not aware of any, but,
I need to look more into those bundles myself, that way I can
yeah, I'd encourage it.
keep an eye out on what we need and don't need.
Yeah, I'm still collecting stuff mostly in mining at the moment, but, actually, I'll check the beach quick for something, too. I was thinking lately, though, that I don't know. I want to get into a game where I can feel like I can actually like practice and get good at it again. But it does go like back and forth pretty heavily in what game would actually be fun. Like Overwatch, I think is a decent option for me at least. But I just haven't been as much in the mood for it lately. For Honor might be a lot of fun, but frankly, I just don't have enough people that play it unless it's on PlayStation, which I actually do own, but. I feel like all the people I'd be interested in playing with are very split in that game.
You thinking about getting a new Red Dead game, or?
Yeah, I probably will at some point. I'm reluctant just given their history with GTA 5 and the online stuff. I'm waiting for, the Red Dead Redemption equivalent of shark cards or something. But I mean, like, I loved Red Dead Redemption on the PS3. That was an amazing fucking game. So it is tempting.
I think my biggest complaint about Overwatch, actually, as actual like gameplay goes, is it seems almost kind of. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of characters, and there's a dozen or so maps, or probably more than that, really. But
yeah,
it just seems like it's one of those games, kind of like Team Fortress 2, where it's like eventually you've kind of played with all the characters and you've played all the maps over and over and over again, and it's. At that point, what's the point to keep playing except to just maybe go into competitive and try to prove that you're better than other people?
Well, I mean, comparison to that, I'd be kind of curious. I'm sort of in the same place myself, where I've kind of just gotten bored of the stuff that's in Overwatch right now, and I kind of need a break from it. But what is different to you in that sort of lack of content in Overwatch versus like Payday or something? Because, I mean, in Payday, there are a lot of levels, but very few of them are actually in, like, the active rotation, it seems, of ones that are kind of worth doing under normal circumstances. Is it just the matter that the game style is different enough it doesn't really matter? Or, because it is a co-op game entirely, which does make it very different.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. For some reason, with Payday, too, it's just like there's there's like 3 or 4 different ways to do every single heist. So that switches it up. There's multiple different builds you can use for every heist. You can play it with people. You can play it with the bots.
I agree with you there. Although, to play devil's advocate, it does feel to me, at least in the higher difficulties, if you want to, be getting maximum reward, there really aren't that many viable builds. I mean, like, it seemed like dodge was the big one, and I'm probably incorrect. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably incorrect there. If you're playing on a slightly lower difficulty, there are a lot of other options aside from dodge.
There is, but I don't. You just got to be a lot more careful with it.
Okay, so dodge.
I mean, you can use dodge on every. I mean, what? Death Wish and below.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. You can do armor. It's just that when you try to play on the hardest difficulty in the game.
Yeah, that's a legitimate.
It punishes you
limitation.
for not playing with dodge. It's just like, nope, this is not going to work because you wearing this 2-piece suit is the equivalent of you wearing this, huge hulking full body set of armor.
Yeah, and as you say, because it's limited to that... Oh, shit, this thing's got a lot of health. Hey, I got an extra glow ring. Yeah, but because nice. It's limited like that, it's not bothersome to me in that regard.
Well, seeing as I've always been one that...
modes.
I've always been one that's loved to dodge anyway, so I don't really care. I wouldn't go out of my way to use any other sort of build. But, I mean... That's the fun thing about it, though. You can fuck around with Payday 2 and have, like, you can have a sniping build, you can have a build that utilizes ECMs and active combat, because they've got that feedback loop that kind of causes the cops to clutch at their heads and all that shit. You can run with sentries, you can run turrets.
It did seem like they made sentries a lot more viable.
You can go shotgunner, you can go akimbo. I don't know.
No, I mean, it's got a lot of variety, certainly.
It does, and it also kind of doesn't. I guess, once you finally figure it all out and learn the game, you're like, there's as much of this as I think there is now that I know everything.
Yeah, but that's the same... I mean, beyond things like World of Warcraft, where they've literally had 8 years to add content, and there's more than any human should ever be able to do, I mean, that's just sort of a natural side effect of it being a game that has limits. I mean, it's unrealistic to find games, aside from things like... I mean, if you're talking about new content specifically, yeah, it's really hard to make a game that has that much authentically new content. You're relying more on, like, mastery or, like, unlocking equipment.
Yeah.
Like a fighting game you can play almost endlessly, but the thing that you're getting out of it is not the game necessarily giving you new stuff, it's you discovering new aspects of the game and, like, tightening up your playstyle.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, it's not going to make a new story for you as you're sitting there, usually.
Yeah.
At least not a good one. Just going to become the whole thing like, hey, another settlement needs your help.
Yeah, that's not annoying at all.
Yeah, I mean, I credit them with, like, the whole Radiant Quest idea was not a bad idea, but I also think they sort of assumed it was working a little better than it actually was.
Yeah. Yeah,
but still,
I'd say you're right.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I think what they're doing kind of needs to happen. I mean, if they can make Radiant Quests good, that'd be pretty awesome. And games that have made up, like, systems like that, like in Diablo, I really loved when they added an adventure mode, because all of a sudden, like, adventure mode is not perfect. I mean, it's definitely very limited in what it does, but it's kind of neat that there's this constantly changing thing that it'll throw at you. You've always got something new to try, or a new challenge of some sort.
Well, I can at least say that I got a very good, portion of the Diablo experience.
Yeah.
Before
I sort of figured that, look, you seem to have some fun with it, hopefully, which is really all I'd kind of ask of it. I figure it's just, like, top-down stuff may just not really be sort of to your taste. Which, I mean, honestly, given that you've expressed a pretty strong preference to, like, first-person shooter games, which, I mean, really, I'm kind of in the same boat in a lot of cases. I definitely cannot blame you there. Ooh, cave crab.
Oh
I will say, like,
God.
as much as I just don't feel excited necessarily to play not Team Fortress, Payday 2 myself, but I'm actually, like, if they have Payday 3 at some point, I'm going to be really interested in trying that.
Well, like I said, I at this point for me, I don't really have all that much interest in playing it either. But if someone wants to play it with me, I will go out of my way to play it with them, because
Yeah, I got you there.
the game is fun, but I've played it to the point to where it's not really so much fun if I'm playing it just by myself. I'd like to have a friend to play it with.
Yeah, I got
bonus
you.
points if the friend is a total noob and I get to feel like Einstein telling them the answers to everything.
That is fun. I mean, it was the same. It was part of the reason I enjoyed playing like Monster Hunter with you and my brother and other folks like that. It's just very fun to have a game that I authentically enjoy and that I know a bit about.
You had all the answers.
Up until you started playing Heavy Bowgun.
Which was like
I'm
day
actually...
2.
Yeah, like after that point I could tell you basic stuff about certain monsters, but I mean, like, you were basically in your own territory at that point learning how the gun worked. I think Rain had some good advice, but that was about it. At that point, I was just a friendly face.
Oh my God, these fish are insane. I can't catch them.
Are you getting the really tough ones?
Yes! Oh my God! I can't. I've only caught 2 of these Dorados so far. It is
Where are you
insane.
fishing?
Right below the barn, the lady's house with the livestock in the river. It is nuts.
Huh, man, I've gotten shit from there in the past.
All I'm getting are these Dorado fishes, and I can't. I've only caught 2 out of like 5 so far. I need to I don't know if bait helps you with the catching process or not, but
You can buy, like, bobbers that make it easier to catch things, but they wear out after, like, a day. Still can be very worth it if you're going for, like, specific stuff. And also, as your fishing skill increases, obviously, you know, it becomes easier.
I'm at level 9. Which
It's
I got
not going to
last
increase
night.
much more. So remind me to give you this glow ring.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's always I think in multiplayer games, it always is like a slow process of trying to find new stuff over time. Especially trying to find, like, stuff that actually has, like, a player base among friends. I'm sort of curious to see if Blackout will eventually become a thing with, like... I know Mina is a huge fan of Battle Royale games in general and loves PUBG. And has been very, very against the idea of ever playing a Call of Duty game. For perhaps legitimate reasons. But may soften to it once they actually add more content.
Well,
Beyond that, playing with my brother's been pretty fun. I had a few really good rounds lately. And actually, I'm kind of eager to go back to PUBG a bit, too, at some point.
yeah, same. We need to get back into that sometime. Alright, heading back. I do like fishing down here. It's really close.
It is nice when you find a good spot.
I don't have to run all the way across the town to get to it.
Alright, I'm tossing the glow ring in the green chest, okay?
Okay. Have we ever caught a chub? I have a chub. I don't know if we need...
Yep. I don't think we need any of those right now, but you can hold on to it if you want to check to be certain.
Too late. Alright, cool.
Yeah, that glow ring's the one you find. Hey, level 6 combat. I have a slime egg press.
2 days in a row I went down there and she hasn't been, like, in the position...
Been selling?
Yeah, she hasn't been in the position where she will sell me anything. She's always, like, walking around or leaving or something. I don't know what the deal is.
Man, high-level mining really sucks.
Shut up, duck. Stop quacking so much. You have nothing to quack about.
How dare you quack?
Maybe I'm not getting down there early enough or something. I don't know.
It shouldn't be a matter of, like, only being open early in the day. That just doesn't make sense. If we save one of the duck eggs, we can use it for one of the pantry things.
No? Okay, I can save one.
I'm debating what I should be doing today. I mean, mining could be useful a little bit, but I might just want to fish instead.
Do I need to save any of these corns? Corn?
No.
Or tomato? No?
Wait, actually, I think we're all set. Yeah, we're all set.
Okay.
We should probably save our current money so we can keep buying cows.
Well, if we ever do buy a cow. Yes.
Our barn is not going to much use else otherwise, but, yeah, we may not get the chance to buy a cow for a while.
She's actively avoiding
Wish it was like
me.
mail order. What?
It's like she's actively avoiding me.
What did you say to her?
She's homophobic. Just like a couple of queers wanting to buy a couple of steers. I don't know. Trying to make a joke about us being the gay farmers that moved into town, but I think my head is
Not
hurting.
following you. That was like the worst feeling in the world when you like start into a joke and realize about like maybe too far into it to really stop. It's like, this isn't really working.
It's not worth the effort. Fuck it.
Fail. That's the worst section of my life, which should tell you that I live a very comfortable existence.
Well, considering earlier you were talking about how you just wanted to go to see Antarctica, and the first thing that came to my mind was, you know, he probably could just up and go to Antarctica whenever the hell he wants. I would agree with you.
Possibly, although I'm going to be losing a lot of money very soon. So to get ready to take the licensing exam that I have to take, which is called...
You told me how expensive that was.
Yeah, well, the exam itself is like $700 per attempt.
Oof.
And
I
the
thought
study
mine was bad
material...
for the... I thought my teacher thingy was bad.
Yeah, it still probably was. But I also found out that the study materials I'm going to probably have to order are well over $1,000.
Help me think of a creative name for our cow.
Mildred.
Well, that's not food related, though.
Oh. Milkshake?
Okay.
Please.
I'll do milkshake. How many cows should I buy? They're only 1,500, I think.
Grab 4.
They're very cheap. Like, that's insane how cheap these cows are compared to, you know, the fucking duck.
Listen, man. It was a high-class duck.
So we did milkshake.
Sure.
We can do,
T-bone?
I'll do hamburger.
Hamburger's good. I like that.
I would love some hamburger helper right now. That'd be good.
Hmm.
Cow number 4.
I should try making that again. I bought a ton of stuff at the store earlier today to make tacos this weekend. That's like my weekend food.
Oh, tacos are good.
Even if I'm trying to make healthy tacos. Which means using ground turkey in this case. Still pretty tasty if you use a lot of spice. Although I've nearly gotten to what they claimed was going to be a fist fight, although I really doubt they would have tried to swing at me. There's somebody saying what I'm technically making is burritos, not tacos. Which is technically correct, but I'm not going to... You know, I've decided I'm not going to let that one fly.
You don't like hard shell tacos much, do you?
No, they're actually great. No, hard shells are awesome. Soft shells are just what I've been in the mood for lately, and they tend to be easier.
Oh. Oh.
Plus, at least for counting calories, the soft shell ones are simpler.
I am 110% always a hard shell taco person. I don't know why.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love hard shell tacos. Especially if you go to Taco Bell and get those Doritos Locos tacos.
I've never actually had those.
It's basically just a Dorito for the shell. And it is, I was even, like, holding off on getting them for the longest time. I was like, oh, I'll just keep getting the regular ones. And then eventually I finally tried them, and it kind of blew my mind. I was like,
I've got
oh,
a Taco Bell, like,
wow.
literally less than 5 minutes from my house. I should go there at some point. But,
I think it's a number 10 meal or something. It's just like a 3 Doritos Locos Tacos, and you got like a Baja
I'm not actually a
Blast.
huge Doritos fan, honestly. At least I haven't had them in a long time. Maybe I'd like them. But tacos in general sound pretty good.
They are pretty good. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're getting the Americanized version every time we get them, because like in Mexico, their tacos are totally different.
Oh, yeah.
But still, they're good. Okay, so do I need to do anything to milk these cows, or...
Yeah, you need a milking pail from her.
Oh, I gotta buy a milking pail from her.
Yep.
Fudge, I wish you told me that, because she's gonna be gone before I get back down there. Probably, unless it's at 4, and I'm almost... No, she's gonna leave. And... 4 o'clock. Yep, and she's walking off. God damn it, I was so close! I was so damn close. Ugh, whatever.
Well, I mean, you can't milk them now anyway.
Yeah, but
They're
I
too
took tomorrow
young.
morning, right? Oh, okay,
No?
never mind.
Yeah, you don't feel too bad about it.
I couldn't tell if they were
I mean,
babies.
you should feel bad about it, but not yet. We also, at some point, should buy heaters for the coop and the barn.
Oh, what happens if you don't? Just their happiness just goes down, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. They're just uncomfortable.
We're freezing out here.
I've never actually tested it, just because that seemed like animal cruelty, and I'm not going to be cruel even in games.
Well,
despite
I mean,
what everything in Monster Hunter World would tell you.
like, most people don't actually have heaters and stuff in their chicken houses and in their barns. Oh god, I mean, well, we couldn't ever do it anyways, because we have so many head of cattle. We couldn't fit them all in the barn if we tried.
Really? Like, how many cattle did you have?
I mean, if you... on the farm I'm on right now, plus the one that my parents have, I think we've got upwards of at least 70 or 80 head of cattle.
Really? Wow.
And 1 horse. One horse.
So, maybe you can help me out with this, because this may just be my pure ignorance of cows and stuff like that. But, I'm kind of curious here. Like, I was always impressed when I was younger that it seemed like it would be almost impossible, given the amount of money it would take to, house, medicate, feed, etc., a cow, to really make an appreciable profit that would make it routinely worthwhile to raise cattle, given the amount of meat available on a cow after slaughtering them. I mean, I'm just thinking, that's just me being incorrect, right? Like, there's enough meat on there and enough use from the other parts and stuff like that it's an economical thing to do, right? It must be.
Well...
The entire meat industry wouldn't exist if it didn't.
Um...
But I mean, like, if I buy meat at a store, I'm buying a wholesale price, but the butcher had to sell it to them for significantly less because they're marking it up, obviously, just so they can make a profit.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it can only be like a few dollars a pound. So, like, I'm guessing like a potential profit per cow, of maybe a few $1,000s.
Usually,
Maybe,
usually, hang on, I'm trying to catch this fish. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Stop it. Oh my god, come on. Wow, this fish knows. There, fuck me. It wasn't even the fucking hard one either, that's annoying. Whatever. I mean, usually cattle go for a couple of bucks a pound. So if you've got like a 1,500 pound cow, that's a pretty big cow. Most of them don't get that big, but if you've got like 1,000-pound cow,
1,000 pounds seems pretty reasonable, right?
I think so. I'm not
Okay,
actually entirely sure, but
okay, so if we assume like 1,000-pound cow,
go for
though,
about $3 a pound.
So $3,000 per cow.
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering, for an economy of scale, if you have enough of them, I suppose. But I mean, how much does it cost to feed one long enough from birth until slaughtering age? It just, I don't know. Like, for some reason, my imagination always had a tough time wrapping itself around that.
Here, I just googled it because I was curious. The average weight of a female cow is 1,600 pounds, and a bull is like 2,400. But see, the thing is, we've got like hundreds of acres of pasture, so feeding them isn't all that hard as long as they have grass to eat.
Okay,
Well,
so
of course in the wintertime you have to put out rolls of hay, and my dad basically spends like 2 straight months. I'm not even kidding you. He probably spends 2 months overall after work going straight from work to the hayfield, where he, and it's not even our hayfields. There's just all kinds of places around here where people have all this hay, this grass that's grown up, and they're not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And my dad asks if he can cut it, and every year they let him do it. Some people are really nice. They're just like, oh, yeah, you can just, whatever. I'm not going to use it. Some people are kind of like assholes, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, you can cut it, but I get half, and I'll sell you my half afterwards, because they're kind of like, some people are just cheap that way.
Yeah.
But between that, I mean, a cow usually gives you two calves a year. So,
that's a fair point too.
You don't normally ever take the cows off and sell the cows. You only take the calves off every year and sell them, unless the cow's getting old.
Yeah. So you can keep the cow for quite a few years, get more cows out of it.
Yeah, usually 10 or 12 years you'll keep a cow. And
yeah, I assume there's a certain limit. If you keep them too long, it's like the meat's not quite as good anymore or something.
Possibly. Not entirely sure.
I imagine they probably just don't let them live that long, usually.
There's a duck egg, by the way. I don't know what you needed it for, but it's there.
Oh, yeah, I've got a special thing for... it's a... bundle.
Oh. Go to sleep. Level 7 farming. I can make a loom now. Oh yeah, I was also thinking about